Brr, sure is cold out there. Good thing Uprising Studios knit me this nifty scarf. Oops, not that one. This one. What's that? Identical. Well, I mean, sure, I suppose they are both heavily stylized 3D puzzle adventure games that feature a voiceless magical scarf-wearing protagonist who traverses a variety of environmental biomes to advance a subtle yet specific narrative all to the tune of string-heavy soundtrack and holy shit, you're right. But just because Scarf shares an obvious common thread or three with the beloved art game masterpiece that was Journey doesn't mean it's unworthy of your bearded neckline. To prove it to you, let's put Scarf's tailoring under the Mega the microscope and see how its thread count stacks up. We'll start with story, a metric I break into plot, characters, and dialogue. You are, insert name here, a short, top-heavy celestial blue boy of sorts who awakens in a foreign land and is immediately befriended by a dog-like, dragon-shaped scarf. You soon learn that this scarf is orphaned, its mother plundered at the hands of monochromatic bipeds for what you can only assume were selfish, materialistic ends. You and Scarf Bro begin righting this wrong one realm at a time, with each conquest gaining you a piece of the gateway back to Mother and her reincarnation. Or so you assume, until during your journey, until during your quest, you encounter some strange spherical nuggets of lore that begin to unravel your preconceived notions of what you are and why you're here. So it's an interesting premise, but not necessarily one I'd call impressive until the very end. Ditto that for the game's characters. I enjoyed bonding with my Scarf Bro, and insert name here has a complex enough origin story to make it worth tracking down those off-the-beaten-path bits of lore. But your time with these characters is short, and with only a few cutscenes worth of dialogue scattered about, it's hard to feel all that connected to anyone. On to gameplay. Now, what Scarf lacks in combat, it makes up for in its movement. And while Scarf never approaches those euphoric highs that did Journey's smooth, effortless movement system, your Scarf Bro does make for a fun time. You'll slingshot, you'll soar, you'll swing, you'll double jump, and yeah, that's about it. For as fun and fluid as Scarf can feel, it feels like we were an inventive mechanic or two short of a truly memorable gameplay experience. I don't have much to say about Scarf's simple UI, but I will note that I was pleasantly surprised by the game's playability. I only encountered a single bug that resolved on reload, and where other games create artificial difficulty with punishing checkpoints, Scarf is arguably too friendly, with near zero penalty for failure. As a result, the gameplay experience here remains smooth and relaxed. Let's turn to content. Now, a definite high point for Scarf is its beautiful world, a micrometric term I use to account for level and environmental design. There's an almost Metroidvania sense of progression to some of Scarf's levels, which unfold in pieces, with paths often linking back to where you began. Objectives here are unspoken and conveyed visually through cutscenes. For example, you may reach a vista and see 5 small bits of light scattered to the level's corners, suggesting of course that you gotta catch 'em all before that big-ass door will open. One gripe. If you, like me, have the memory of a Cheeto, you won't remember where the cutscene pointed you to go 5 seconds after it's done. Sure, you'll find most of what Scarf wants you to through natural exploration, but with no compass or hint system here, you may hit the occasional roadblock. The puzzles in Scarf are fine, fairly simple connect the dots kind of stuff, with the exception of the Moses puzzles, for lack of a better term. Yeah, those are cool. Everything else can feel a little too easy. Really, most of the puzzle solutions here are spelled out and pretty hard to miss. As for value, it looks like Scarf is launching at around $15, which feels about right considering the 10 or so hours I spent completing it. Given the game's linearity, I doubt you'll play for much longer than that. Finally, a few words on style. Scarf is a gorgeous little game, with pretty textures, great lighting, a vibrant color palette, and, dare I say, some solid sand animations. The game's subtle score is great too. It's a lush, orchestral affair, more whimsical and playful even than were the deep, emotional cellos of Journey. The sound design of Scarf jumped out to me too, as insert name here interacts with a wide variety of surfaces, each sounding distinct and responsive. In the end, Scarf earns the following metric scores, and a final mega score of 3.42 out of 5. It's a solid experience if you're jonesing for a calm puzzle platformer. Until next time, this is Santascope, and happy holidays!